He FaceTimed them from Mexico, and I went, "Hey, girl, how you doing?" She waved. I'm thinking everything is fine. Come to the reunion. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? I like that dress." And she's like, "Hey, hello." And I'm like, "Okay, so we're good." We turn on that clip, honey, and it's a whole nother experience. And I am literally caught off guard. So keep in mind, we filmed this reunion back in February. So we
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We are talking to you guys about Ready to Love. We're dealing specifically with the Joy and Dakia situation because we wanted to find out a little bit more information about why it decided to pop off the way it did. Now, Dakia had an interview with Crystal XO. Shout out Crystal XO for another great interview with Dakia. And this is where we're going to take a lot of our information from. Now, we already know what happened on Reunion Part 2. We know that Joy was popping off at Dakia. And we were trying to find out why Joy was feeling the way she was. Now, what's really interesting about this whole situation is I actually still don't know the full reason as to why Joy popped off at Dakia, because Dakia don't really know. Dakia presented a whole situation where she's saying she was not even aware of this pop-off up until Reunion, right? Until Reunion, Dakia and Joy seemed to be cool. Even the comment she made about I'll take your man or whatever was apparently made in jest in front of producers. So for Joy to use it against her a little bit later on, it seems a little bit some way. Right, so we're gonna break down a bit of the interview and talk a little bit about what we saw from Dakia. Once again, this is another great interview by Crystal XO. Really do appreciate the work that she's done on her side as well, because it gives us a chance to examine some of the stuff that's been said. All right, cool. So for those of you who are in the this particular live, leave a comment below. I can see you guys saying hello. Say hello to somebody if you know them already. You know what I'm saying? Like it's church, hold somebody, tell them that you love them, put your hands together and praise the Lord. You remember the ones? All right, listen. So we're going to jump straight into this. For those of you who are new to the channel, do me a massive, massive favor. Like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, well, you get me. You already know what it is. You got the minerals, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. All right, cool. Fantastic. Let's open up with this comment here. Someone said, Joy said that she was fine with Dakia until she got to Reunion and saw how Dakia was moving. She and Donovan said Dakia wouldn't let the segment end and wanted Clifton to apologize. Oh, okay. Now that's a little bit interesting. Okay, interesting. So Joy popped off the way she did because she felt like Dakia wouldn't let it go. That level of energy doesn't give me I'm pissed off in this moment. That level of energy that Joy had at Reunion gives me I was pissed off before, and this is the final straw. Right? So if it was simply the fact that she wouldn't let it go, I'll be a little bit somewhere. I'm looking at it some way. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be really honest with you. I want to be fair to Joy. I want to be fair to Dakia. I want to be fair to Clifton. I want to hold everybody accountable. But I'm like, wait. So because she wanted to let Clifton apologize, which is totally up to him, that's the reason why the energy popped off the way it did. I mean, potentially she could. I mean, that would then show back to what I mean about Joy being very territorial. But that territorialness can come from a place of fear. I'm not saying that necessarily that is exactly what it is. My theory is that if Joy only popped off because that very last segment, just that last segment where you're saying that Dakia wouldn't let it end and she wouldn't let it go, and you popped off the way that you did, there is only two reasons. You've been bottling up information and you've been bottling up how you feel about Dakia for a very long time. Or number two, let's be honest, you have a very territorial spirit. And when you're territorial and fearful of a loss of connection, you become a tiger. You know what I'm saying? Very similar to how she did with Demetrius earlier on in the season. The same thing again. So we need to ask that key question. That key question we're asking at this very moment, I think, is Joy's energy at reunion to Dakia. I'm a little bit confused if that's the reason why. If that's what she said on IG, I'm still confused because that level of energy does not tell me that you were pissed off of her in that moment, right? That does not look like that kind of energy. That was a whole lot of venom to the point where you're saying that is editing. You laughed, but that wasn't at the segment with Clifton. Do you see what I'm saying? Those moments where you're scoffing and then you're laughing, editing, that wasn't necessarily at the point of Clifton. At that point, she hadn't really spoken about the Clifton situation. So can it really be that it's just because that she was holding on to that segment? I'm not saying that it couldn't be part of it. I'm saying, is that it? I think we have to ask a very serious question now as well towards Joy and Clifton's relationship. I'm not saying they're not happy. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm just saying I'm asking very serious questions just from an analytical point of view about Joy's behavior now. Right? I already said I felt like Joy, when she feels she's protecting who she loves, it becomes very tigerish very quickly. So for me, I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, calm. Hey, Sabrina, you right? Love to see you there, Sabrina. Yeah, Dakia did say that it was filmed 4 episodes in. My biggest thing is if it's filmed 4 episodes in and you haven't seen the rest of the episodes, but old girl is telling you there's more to the story, and then you see there is more to the story, that energy you have should be simmered all the way down. I love Joy too. Don't get it twisted. I appreciate Joy. Joy appreciates me as well. I know, but I'm just keeping it a buck and I'm keeping it real. If you've only seen 4 episodes and then your girl, another woman is telling you, I had a great connection with your man, and you see clips coming out that are showing they had a connection, your energy has to simmer down. You can't come at a high octave. You can't come at a high octave. You've got to reduce your energy immediately. Immediately. Are you not embarrassed? Are you not embarrassed? Because I will be embarrassed. I'll be absolutely embarrassed if I can see that there are clips now showing when you guys have dates, you guys are connecting to the point where you're telling the person, I'm open. Let's keep it a buck. I'm gonna be looking at raw like, babe, I thought you said you didn't have that kind of connection, but when the clips are showing off, remember, we're only 4 episodes in is what you showed, and you're showing us the edits where they're talking. But instead of saying that, she said, great edit. That's concerning for me. That's a little bit concerning for me. That the natural response would have been, that's a great edit, rather than being, actually, okay, I never saw that before. Maybe I need to have a conversation with Clifton. Right? Maybe I need to have a conversation with Clifton. Maybe I need to talk to Clifton. So that's true, Queen. She did say that. She said that even the clips on the reunion wasn't completely what was shown in person. It's true. She did say that. But I personally still would have simmered down, man. I'd have simmered down still. I would have simmered down. It's only no. The kid's still accountable. That doesn't remove anything. The interview didn't show that she's not accountable. She's still accountable. Don't get to. She's still accountable. I'm just redirecting the focus now on other people too, right? Because I already did a video on Clifton, and I said about Clifton has to be held accountable. But now I'm looking at Joy's energy in terms of this whole situation in regards to what's happened. So let me even go through my clips, because I want to break some stuff down. The interview. Let's have some real conversation. Let's go back. Okay, so I want to start here and kind of bring it down to you, okay? All right, let's go. Okay, let's get it to here. I want to get to here. Again, shout out Crystal for another great interview.
Before. So talk to us about how that connection went up until when you all went away for the overnight cabin, and we saw that, it became apparent that wasn't going to be the connection for you.
So keep in mind that as viewers, you guys get to see things that we don't really get to see. You know, you guys are seeing everyone's dates. You guys are seeing everyone's confessional interviews. So we don't really get to see that. I was primarily just focused on me. I kind of have tunnel vision. And this was like a very new experience. Typically in the real world, you're not going to know that, you know, the guy that you're dating is dating other people and you're friends with those other people, you know. So for me to keep everything compartmentalized, I didn't care about any connection that anybody had with anybody else. I'm focused on me.
Pause. Now, this is very important. Let me give you a good lesson. Let me give you guys a good lesson. Number one, let me tell you, number one, as I said earlier on, when people are dating, you have to be aware of the battlefield that you're on. To say I have tunnel vision is exactly what I was talking about, mindset. When I want to play you, okay, I am glad you got tunnel vision. If I want to play you, I am glad you got tunnel vision. This is exactly what I was talking about when I said about giving off a certain energy, that as a man, when you want to play people, you're looking for certain types of people. And this is what I wanted to explain to the audience to get you to a place that you don't have to get played. You don't have to. You just have to open your eyes and start being aware of what environment you're actually in. You're in an environment where people are dating other people. Therefore, you have to be conscious and aware. You can't get tunnel vision and you can't lock in too early. Luckily for Joy, Clifton felt the exact same way, but she would have had the exact same problem if she had locked in that early on somebody and he decided he weren't really on it. Right? But luckily for her, Clifton felt the same way. Right? Clifton felt the same way. But it could have been so much different. So what I'm saying is that her saying that she felt like she has tunnel vision is exactly the thing I'm talking about. You are on a show dating other people. You cannot have tunnel vision. You can't, because you're dating other people. And even in the real dating world, you can't have tunnel vision because people are doing what they're doing. Now, you don't know exactly what they're doing, but you must be aware of their energy shift in the atmosphere. You gotta, right? You've got to focus on the energy. And that doesn't mean you put all your energy into it. It means having awareness. When you're driving your car, you don't just focus on you. You have to focus on the environment around you. You have to be self-aware. If you want to drive your car and just focus on you driving, fantastic. But just remember, you got other people who are on the road. If you don't pay attention, someone's stupid enough to come out when they shouldn't come out. Somebody's stupid enough to drive at a really fast pace. Somebody's stupid enough, right, to not adhere to the car rules or to the road rules, right? Someone's stupid enough to do that. You cannot have tunnel vision. That's what I'm talking about. So that energy, right? That energy, right, is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying about paying attention. And that as an energy, as a man, as I'm looking at you, you got to be careful that there are wolves in sheep's clothing. You know what I'm saying? Right? So that's what I'm saying, being very much aware of those things, right? You don't have to necessarily get tigerish about other connections. You just need to be aware. That means open your eyes, be sharp, listen, hear, perceive, ask questions when you need to, right? And that's what, and that's the truth. And actually, she used the word later on in it. She said she put up blinders. I'm gonna give you the clip. She actually said later on, after the conversation where he said, "No, we got a really strong connection." She said, "I put up the blinders." Now, we're not going to just talk about the kid today. We're going to go on and talk about Joy again because I want to focus more on the Joy conversation. So don't worry. We're not going to rehash yesterday's conversation. We are going to talk about Joy. I'm just bringing this all in because it's all part of the interview. And I want to focus on Joy and Dakiya's situation, right? So that's really important. Dakia has 2 full jobs, now dates. Now she has to investigate the people that are giving her reassurances. Yes, that's the price you pay in life. Yes. I don't care if you've got 4 jobs. I don't care if you've got 3 kids. I actually don't care because the other man don't care. We don't care if you've got 2 jobs and that's an excuse. You have to be aware. Are you going to tell me you can't drive properly on the road because you've got 3 kids at home crying? We don't care. You've got to adhere to the road rules. Irrespective of what's going on in your life, you've got to balance. No excuses here, guys. Come on, no excuses. We're not going to give any excuses as to why she can't be aware of what she's facing at the moment. Do you know what I mean? You know, this is, you have to be able to read situations. Don't put your blinkers on. Don't put your blinkers on. All right, next clip I want to bring up, which I want to bring again awareness to, is around Clifton's behavior. Let's have a look at this.
Okay.
So when it came with Clifton, he and I, like I said, from the mixer, exchanged information. And we had a continuous time of always talking. Like pretty much we were talking every day, every other day. We started FaceTiming. So it was always a connection. Even when Eric came, I was still talking to Clifton. Clifton and I still were going out on dates. I think that there was a date that you guys didn't get to see, which actually was my favorite date of the season. He came to my dance studio. I taught him a ballet class. He was dancing. We had a whole little routine that we worked out. We had food. We had good conversation. So even throughout the whole process, Clifton and I maintained a really good connection. And with
So this is where Clifton will have to take accountability. I said this in my other video last time as well. Clifton will have to take accountability, right? Because if you spend this amount of time, chasing someone, calling them, messaging them, you better make sure they're aware of where they're at. That's the honest truth. You got to make sure they know where they are at. Otherwise, you will have to take accountability for your actions, right? So part of the impact on Dakia, how she feels right now, you got to take responsibility for the fact that you have caused that impact, right? Because you calling every day, FaceTiming every day is a part of that impact. Now, I also, again, unfortunately, okay, all right, unfortunately, in this situation, okay, Dakia has taken the brunt of it, right? She's unfortunately become the lamb to the slaughter. She's become the paperweight. She's become the pawn in the game. And that's what happens, all right? It's unfortunate that is the unfortunate aspect of this thing. She has become the pawn of the game, okay? All right? Now, he spent this amount of time, and I think I said this yesterday with Jay, he spent this amount of time because he knew this is all he had to do. This is all he had to do. When you're trying to play someone, and we said this yesterday with Joy, you only have to give them a little hope. A little hope. Okay? A little hope. But he has to take accountability, and there should have been an apology coming his way, unless he really doesn't care. Unless he really does not care about her, then an apology should be coming saying, listen, do you know what? My bad. I can see how me calling you, me messaging you, me FaceTiming you. Not only did he FaceTime her, he FaceTimed her, and the kids were in the background. So we want to talk about Tina and talking to Mandem with the boys. You FaceTimed her with the kids in the background. But I'm going to say it again. He knew exactly the impact it would have on someone like Dakia. I have spotted you, Dakia, from the moment I saw you, I knew I could play you. So he knows I know what level to give her. Just enough hope for her to hold on to, but never give her what she wants. That's the whole point. And so, unfortunately, I do feel for her in the aspect of, look, the game is the game. Like, he fed you the little dribs and the little drabs, the breadcrumbs, enough to make you feel some type of way. Now, I'm sure, listen, he was invested in some shape or form. He definitely was invested in some shape or form. It's just unfortunate way it's gone. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Here's where Clifton is dangerous because of this particular feeling. This is why I said you have to be very aware of the road that you're driving on, okay? Be very aware of the road you're driving on. Listen to this.
Hair down. Like he's going to make sure that you're comfortable enough to be yourself and just to be relaxed. And with him, I really was able to let that guard down that I typically have. And I felt like we had a strong connection.
Okay. That was my next question is, what was it about?
Okay, I'm gonna go to that part in a second or two. She said she was able to let her guard down with Clifton. You know, that's one of the hard parts. It's the letting the guard down, right? Once the guard has come down, once that person has removed that guard, it pretty much is easy sailing from there. I just need to sell you a little bit of investment. And the truth of the matter is, listen to what she said earlier on. Even though Eric came in the picture, she was still feeling Clifton. And if I'm Clifton, I can sense that even if another man comes in the picture, I still have power over you. I've always got you. And this type of energy, men like Clifton, and I called it out from the beginning of the season. I said Clifton's a game player. I told you guys this. Y'all, a lot of you guys were saying Clifton is so lovely. I said Clifton is a game player from the very first beginning of the season. I said it from episode 1. So don't tell me that I wasn't holding him smoke, because I told you guys from the very beginning that he is a game player. I said the way he was even talking to Joy was game playing to me. I told you guys from season 1, from the beginning of the season. That was I said I don't like the way he's going on. I think he's game playing. So now we have the situation where, as a man, we can see when that girl has all eyes on me and doesn't have any eyes on anybody else. Right? We can see as men when you have all eyes on me and nobody else. And this is a problem, because what you're really saying, right? What you're really saying is, you can do whatever, but I'm still going to feel you. And if I'm a wolf and not a sheep, or as I say, if I'm a wolf and not a good guy, what you're going to see, right? What you're going to see is that I'm going to take advantage of you. I'm going to take advantage of you. And sometimes even that energy of you're devoted and you worship me from early. Sometimes, as a lot of times with men, we don't even want that girl in the end. You don't offer no chance. You don't offer no challenge. You don't offer resistance. You don't offer the fact that, you know what? If I was to mess up, you'd go. You don't give us no respectability. Not that she's not respectable, but the energy you put out, I don't respect it. You don't even give me that if I was to do something wrong, you'd move away. You give me an energy that tells me if I do something, you'll stay. Do you get me? All right, cool. So let's go to the next clip. I think it's even this part where he talks about the Facetime and the boy situation. This question's here as well.
About Clifton. He did seem like he knows how to have a good time. And we didn't see that you guys were having that much connection. But talk to us a little bit about, besides just the having a good time, what was it about him and you guys' conversation as you spent time talking that really connected you to him even more and made you, I guess, look forward to continue getting to know him? Because we didn't see you all's chemistry. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So for me and my background, I'm the type of person that I like to straddle the line between, like, put together and relaxed. I'm from the hood, but I'm still, upward, like going forward and progressing in my life and my career and everything like that. So with Clifton, we had that balance. He's an IT professional as well. He's in program management. So we had that intellectual bond. We could talk about current events. We could talk about different things. But then at the same time, he had that balance where I could relax and just, be Kia. You know what I mean? I didn't have to be Miss Dakia. I could just be Kia, which is just me without having to, just really smile, or just having to like be on.
And this is part of the dream selling. And you have to be very careful of these things, because that's what she desires. And in this game, unfortunately, of life, sometimes, if I can sense what you want from me and I can provide it without you telling me, I can potentially do you over, because what you'll feel like is this person's meant for me when all I did was actually just read you. It's almost like when the magician kind of says, I can read your mind. They're not really reading your mind. They're taking psychological hints. And those psychological hints, similar enough in dating, happen the exact same way. We can read certain things of energy, the way that you present yourself and the way you move. And so it's like and this is why I said about accountability for Dakia, because what you need to do is go back and look at what happened and then address what energy am I putting out, so that when people see me, they don't take me for idiot. You understand? The man don't take me for idiot and took me for dickhead. Do you understand? Like, you're not going to take me for a mug. So it's about going back and just reassessing what energy am I putting out there. And it actually comes from within. Right? Someone said she's from the hood, but the mentality bypassed her. You know what I mean? Like, the difference between Joy and Dakia, Joy is just as, I think, she committed herself so early. Earlier than I think most people have done. The difference for me with Joy and Dakia is Joy is likely to cut you. You know what I mean? Right? Joy is likely to cut you. So even if Clifton was to play, he knows the cut is coming. Like, I'm not saying he couldn't play her. I'm saying he could, but he knows what's coming next. He gonna get cut. And often that threat that doesn't have to be said, but is shown, can make such a difference. The man can end up respecting that woman because he knows, I can't play with this one. Now, the question is whether she can actually balance that very well, right? Can Joy balance that very well? And that's what I'm saying to you. That energy of I will cut you works a double-edged sword, right? Like a double-edged sword. It can work like a double-edged sword. So it's unfortunate that can work the other way too, which is that when you're actually in a relationship, that person will give you that same energy that you were saying that you respected them with. They'll give you that same energy, and then can become problematic in your actual relationship. So although it can be a thing that makes you respect that person, right, that can also become the thing that kills the relationship later on, which is why I made stern points earlier on a few episodes back when I heard Joy say, and remember what Joy said. She said, if someone is to drop the ball, if somebody is to drop the ball, it won't be me. That is the sharp tongue coming out again. That's what I'm talking about, right? So that energy in a relationship can do double whammies. What you really want to be working on is working on how to, hold good boundaries without having to shoot guns. That's what you really want to be doing. You want to be working on holding good boundaries without bang, 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 without doing that. And you know those people because when you encounter them, you instantly respect them. You don't know why, but you instantly respect them. Because they know who they are, and they know their boundaries, and they know what they're good and what they're bad, and they know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and they know I won't take this or I will take this. You're not taking me for an idiot. You understand? You never take me for an idiot. You know those people. They don't have to tell you to respect them. You just respect them. Do you get what I'm saying? Right? Yeah. It's a bit sticky still. It's a bit sticky still. Yes, Joy did quit her job, and I am. Joy is more like to Dakia than I think she realizes. Maybe this was the plan for Joy all along. Maybe she wanted to have kids anyway, so that's why she's happy to quit the touring. She's always wanted to be a mother. Maybe that's why. But that also looks a bit like, wait, quitting the job so early on. I mean, obviously it had been a few months since the reunion, but quitting the job already? I said, oh, snap. I said, maybe you just like Dakia, but like I said, the only difference is you get knives out when you're ready to cut. You get knives out ready to go. You know what I mean? That's the only real difference between yourself and Dakia, it looks like. Just maybe that's my thoughts. Anyway, all right, cool. Let's get back into the clip. I want to get to here we go.
Amazing dad. He's a great dad to his boys. He even was I was honored, he was allowing me to even FaceTime him with his boys there. So I was able to have that. So it was just, I felt a really strong connection with him, and we had a good time. We had a real good time, especially on the dates. You guys got to see a few of them. And like I said, the dance studio one, if y'all could see this man doing his ballet, it was.
I don't know if you caught it. She said that she had a conversation with Clifton and the kids were in the background. She felt honored to be able to have the kids around. So he was doing a lot. That's why I said he's got to be held accountable. You can't be you moving mad, bro. Yeah, you was moving mad. Yeah, and literally, you were trying to. He was doing what we call roping her in. Okay, and he was doing it without saying anything. He was doing it with the actions. That's what I was telling you about last time. That your actions. He knew. Okay, kids are gonna be in the background. Whatever. I'm gonna have a conversation with you. And it's not even that he sat down and thought about it. Most people don't sit down and think about it constructively. It is just a behavior. And it's just acting on feeling, right? But he knew exactly what he was doing. It's conscious of what you're doing when you know that you're on your phone, your kids in the background. You know what that's going to send a signal to. You know. So at the end of the day, like you got to be held accountable too, right? You got to be held accountable too. Hey, some of you guys honestly don't listen very well. I held Clifton accountable already, and I said Dakia has to take accountability for her role in it. I'm not changing my perspective. She's still going to be held accountable. She doesn't get a free pass. You're still held accountable because it's your life. No one else can be held accountable for your life. So don't worry. We're not saying the same thing as we were saying yesterday. Yesterday, I focused on why she got played and how she has to take accountability for how she got sucked in and misled. She led herself to the slaughter. This is a part of leading yourself to the slaughter. I'm just giving the other side now where I'm holding the other person also accountable, which I've already done in another video. So that's what I'm trying to get you to see that, right? So don't worry. It's not what you were saying yesterday because I already told you I held both of you accountable. All right, cool. Let's play a little bit more of this clip. Beautiful. Love this clip. This clip's the next one, right? This is what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's go.
Like, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know what date you went on. I don't want to know what you said to her. I don't want to. All of my dates, I wanted to have blindness.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I apologize.
Like, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know what date you went on. I don't want to know what you said to her. I don't want to. All of my dates, I wanted to have blinders on and focus on me and the connection with that guy. For me and for my sanity, I don't want to know what else you got going on. And then, but now if we're in a relationship, it better not be nothing.
Right. But I mean, I think that'd be the only way to stay sane on a show like that is to really focus on what.
Now the key question here is, Dakia, were you having blinders on and not listening to Joy in the girls lounge? You know, was that also happening as well? And again, I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about the energy that someone presents. That having those blinders, was that also something that you were doing as you were operating through that whole thing? Were you blind to being the awareness of where you stood with people as well? Right? Because that's another thing we've got to also be aware of. Where do you stand with people? You got to be aware, right? You got to pay attention. If you're spending enough time with people, you got to start being aware, start being open, right? And start being vigilant about the arena you're on. Saying I put my blinders up again. It's not necessarily that it's bad putting up blinders. It's the energy. It's the energy again. It's the energy again. It's the energy again. It's the energy again. You know, that energy again. People read it. Put my blinders up. Okay, cool. Now here's another thing I want to just slightly bring this on, right? This is another one that's interesting for me, and it's not even about Dakia or anyone. This is about Tori. This is interesting, right?
Become one of my best friends in the world. I'm so serious. Like, we talk all the time. Today, like, we went out for Cinco de Mayo. Like, Tori has become one of my closest friends, but he and I didn't really connect until much later into the process. And at that point, it's like, you know, he had his connections, I had my connections, and we just formed a strong friendship at that point. And it's been going on ever since then. He's one of my favorite people. Tori is dope.
We got to have Tori on because Tori has been a lot of people's. He gets a lot of great comments, and we didn't see.
He's a good guy.
We didn't get to see that. I can't wait for us to talk to Tori because we did not. We didn't really get. We got to see him really focused on Sabrina, and then we definitely heard him saying that he would rearrange people's organs, and that kind of threw us off. And then we saw he and Precious, and that wasn't a positive thing. So that's interesting.
It's interesting that Tori again seems to be in the friendship zone. You know, I'm interested again to find out what you mean. Tori again is involved in a friend zone arena with another female. Listen, maybe just listen. I'm just saying, you know, I'm saying that, look, that's also, again, if we're talking about Dakia's energy, I'm talking about Tori's energy. That's exactly what I said about the Tori situation. How is it you ended up being every female's friend and confidant after the show is ended? Like, bruh, how you ended up on everybody's best friend list? That, for me, is what I'm talking about. That's an energy. Someone might say, well, no, you know, he's just a nice guy. Well, we are in the same situation we were before. You are in somebody's friend zone. You're not where you want to be. You're not where you want to be. So this is the same thing I'm talking about with energy and how people are reading it. The same way people are reading these energy. Why again, Tori? Are you in the best friend zone again with somebody? Why again? It's time to say, listen, I want more or nothing else. We do not listen. Let me tell you, any man out there, you do not need to accept friendship. You don't need to. You do not need to accept friendship. If she says she wants a friendship with you, you tell her I wasn't interested in friendship, so it's okay. I can go away. You know what I'm saying? You being this nice guy is getting you killed. You being this nice guy is getting you hurt. You orbiting around the friendship zone is getting you finished. For what reason? That's an energy. That is an energy. And you see, this is the thing I'm talking about. When people start breaking it down as to what behavior really is. So sometimes what we'll say is, sometimes women can't explain very well what they mean. Right? They can't explain what they mean, so they use different words to describe what it is. Right? So let me show you what I'm talking about. Sometimes they're like, oh, he's a nice guy, but why are you not dating him? Oh, but he's a nice guy. No, what you mean is he has no bite. What you mean is he's not very assertive. What you mean is you don't get sexual energy from him because you're not getting no sense of danger from him, so you're not interested. It's that simple. And so, see, sometimes this the language you use on certain things because we don't want to be rude about it. But the truth of the matter is, sure, you're in the same place, right? You're in the same place, right? AW says she likes a nice guy. Hey, listen, I'm not saying there isn't people that don't like nice guys. There are a few of you who will like nice guys, right? But the point of what I'm saying is, when he's too nice, what happens? Most women don't want that. Most people don't want that. So the truth of the matter is that when we say about nice, we know what we mean when we say, oh, he's a nice guy. We know exactly what that means when a woman says it's a nice guy. The men don't, and I'm not saying all men, I'm talking about in the sense of the men that are nice don't get it. They don't get it. And suddenly they're like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, life boy, same thing. When we say she's the homie, same thing with Precious. When they said, Precious, you're the party girl, what they are doing is disqualifying you. You have a trait, an attribute, an action, a behavior that people don't want to make you wife or make you hubby. And I would advise you to ask, if you can, if you've got male friends, to ask them, what energy do I put out that makes me this? I had to tell one friend that was a girl. I said, you're too nice. Yeah, you're too nice. Yeah, I said, you're way too nice. Way too nice. And let me tell you something. I don't want to be Kevin Samuels, so don't worry, I'm not going to. But when I dive into people's backgrounds, okay, and when I was talking to this girl, I love this girl, she's amazing, because she's willing, she'll go to the ends of the earth for you. She will literally go to the ends of the earth for you. And I appreciate that. But do I want to date that? No. And the reason being, number one, is because sometimes as men, the same thing that women have is about too nice. As men, we're thinking, I can take advantage of this girl, bro. I can take advantage of this girl. If you're really trying to be in a relationship, not those boys that are trying to take advantage of somebody. It's the same thing. We have the same issue too. We're like, nah, she's too nice, bro. Like, everything she gets, like, she's never gonna tell me no. She's never gonna tell me no. I'm gonna be able to do whatever I want. She's never gonna tell me no. Right? And the day she does tell me no, it's going to get problematic because I've had my way the whole entire time, or she's going to pile up and blow up because, you know what, it's all been building. And then when I look back when I asked her about her background, she gave me a little bit of her background. I said, that's where it's coming from. The relationship with your parents and how you related to them. People don't realize that if you don't start looking backwards into your past, you don't know how best to progress forward into the future. So yes, when you hear people say, this is what I saw from you, or this is what I felt from you, you're the nice guy. It's time to look into that. When someone, and because nice guys don't really exist, nice girls don't really exist. You're like that way because you're timid. That's completely different. But anyway, I'm currying of course. I just want to make sure you understand that. Someone said Tori's official woman's phone a friend, ready to love. He has no shot. Lord of mercy. again, so yeah, man, it's peak, man. It's peak, man. Someone said Tori's issue was not that he's too nice. His issue was that he only wanted Sabrina. Certain men want women who look a certain way. Tori was nice to other women, but did not actively pursue them. But that's a part of him being too nice. That's the whole point. Part of his persona was to zone in on Sabrina. And what you don't realize is there's a thing called social proofing. Oh, you see, psychology. There's a thing called social proofing, right? This affects women more than it does. I know not say that. Let me just say it affects men and women. Let me just be honest. Social proofing, right? I'll give you a good example of what social proofing is. You go onto Instagram and you see I have 100K followers. Immediately, as you see my 100K followers, if I say I'm a good dancer and you see 100K followers, automatically your mind is thinking, well, he must be really good because he's got 100K followers. That's an aspect of social proofing. And what happens is someone sees it and goes, okay, I think he's good. And someone else sees someone else seeing it and going, well, if they like it, maybe it must be good. Well, it must be good. If they like it, it must be good. It's when you see a consensus or a group or a society saying something looks good, someone else just says it looks good without testing it. They just say it looks good. That's the proof I needed. Right? So someone said Toby in English. Listen, that particular guy, I mean, you saw how he talked about her. You saw how he talked about her. You saw how he talked about her. It was disrespectful. No cap, Christian or no Christian, it was disrespectful. The way he spoke about the situation was disrespectful. To have someone talk about that. Now, there's honesty and there's honesty. It was disrespectful the way he spoke to her. Do you know why? Because he knows her boundaries and the fact she loves him so much that she wouldn't leave. When you're in that space, you're in a dangerous place, bro. You're in a dangerous place. Ladies and gents, please come out your timidness. Come out your timidness. Come out of your timidness. I'm not saying don't be a good friend. I'm not saying don't be a nice person. I'm saying to you, start to be assertive and start to assert your boundaries. You know, don't let them get you like that, bro. Don't let them get you like that, bro. Don't let them get you up like that, man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah? Trust me. Oh, man. Woo. Again, so he says, same with Wiley. He did not pursue a lot of the other women. He wanted Christina when she came, but didn't pursue any of the other women there. He was passive. But that's the point. That's the energy he gave off. That's the precisely the point I'm saying. You put off an energy, people read it. All right, cool. So let's keep going. All right. Yeah. Okay. Someone said, but it says a lot about us. This show made me look at myself because I don't like beta males, but alphas are players a lot of times. I hear you, Gita. You need to find a balance. There is a balance, which is why I said you don't want a nice guy, you want a good guy. You don't want a nice guy, you want a good guy. Good guys understand society, they understand the social norms, they know how to operate within it, they know how to move, and you can sense they have good boundaries, they can assert themselves, they can communicate with you, and they let you know from the jump, I won't move like this. I won't. Right? I won't. And Nian said, how would I move it? I already told you, I would play the heck out of the game. I'm sorry. I'm a game player. I'm so sorry. I would have played the game. Unless I found the one that really was there, I'm going to play the game. So you already know. You already know. I'm going to play the game out of there. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's go keep on going. Okay. So I think, again, this is going to be a bit more accountability for Clifton, because he was, they were talking about moving in the first day. Okay.
See us go onto the little porch and the rocking chairs and looking off to the lake. This beautiful view. And I didn't want to bring it up. I kind of, I'm like, you know what I mean? And he kind of, avoids, he's talking about the weather. He's talking about, we're not even having our regular Clifton and Dakia conversations at this point. Now it's just beautiful day we're having. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be a great weekend. I'm like, oh, we're just going
big pink elephant in the room. Nobody wants to address.
Right. We're just going to tap dance around the whole, pink elephant. I mean, it was a whole shuffleball change. It was just a big old avoidance. I'm like, okay, this is done. This is, This is it. And that's the point where I went to the producers, like, you know what? There's nothing here for me. You know, I can
you all
just be
never had that conversation at the
not day one. Not
Okay.
day. So we do the second night.
Okay.
We do the second. So day one, I'm like, you know, can I go? You know, but Tina hasn't shown up yet. So again, she hasn't shown up day one. So we have 3 more episodes to film, and producers at this point are like, you know, no, you signed a contract. We're going to get this show. There's no more self eliminations. And then
all right, cool. So she actually mentioned about the fact that they didn't herself and Clifton did not have the conversation about his choice until day 2. Okay, until day 2. So again, Clifton didn't even really what it sounds like didn't even really volunteer. Okay, did not volunteer you know, the information to didn't volunteer the information to Dakia. He was going to dance in the grave for as long as possible. Okay, he was going to literally dance in the grave for as long as possible. If he could do it, he would have done it to the end of the show, right? If he could do it, he would have done it to the end of the show, because it got to the point where they were at the end. They were at the end at the what? They were at the retreat. Okay, they were at the retreat, and at the retreat, it was only into day 2. And bear in mind, she even said, "I didn't even want to bring it up." She said she didn't want to bring it up. That again is what I'm talking about. Energy. The energy, even at that point, she didn't even want to bring it up. That lets me know you probably wouldn't have asked key questions in the past either. If you were even at that point not wanting to ask questions to that point, you wouldn't have probably wanted to do that in the past either. Meaning you will continue just ignoring it and just hoping it sorts itself out. That's burying your head in the sand. Because what happens is people want to enjoy the moment. They don't want to destroy the moment. They know the moment is coming to an end, but I don't want to stop it. I'm going to take it for as long as I can too, which is why I said I held her accountable, because why did we get to the particular end and it's gone to day 2 and she still didn't really want to say anything? In fact, she says it was the producers that spoke to her, and that's kind of what influenced her to go and have a conversation with Clifton. You feel what I'm saying? Right? So, you know, again, yes, transparency versus honesty. Yes, yes, Jay. Yes, Jay, absolutely. Okay. So again, he played the game in a particular way again, where he was happy with being able to dance in the gray and just leave it as it is. And for Dakiya's point of view, again, in order not to get played, she has to ask those questions. Without asking those questions, there's a problem, right? So the producers knew. They were like, you should have spoken to him. She might not have never spoke to him, you know, had the producer not said anything. How long would it have taken before Dakia would have actually said it? If she didn't have a conversation with the producers, how long would it have taken? Do you get me? This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the energy that you produce, right? So if you don't open your eyes, you allow yourself to be strung along. You'll mislead yourself. Yeah, you hear me? So Clifton has to take responsibility, because, like I said, when you injure somebody, you have to take responsibility because you know exactly what you did. You know exactly what you did. You know exactly what he did. You know exactly what you did. You know exactly the fact that when you were Clift, when the key was coming to you, you didn't want to answer no questions. You try to avoid the situation as long as possible, right? You have to take accountability, which is why at the end of the season, I was expecting him to apologize, say to Dakia, "I'm sorry, my bad. You know what? I know I played you and I hurt your feelings." That's all. It would have been done, but you didn't. And actually, later on in the interview, Dakia says she hasn't had an apology from Clifton as of yet. He should have apologized because he knew exactly what he was doing. You know exactly what you're doing. You were dancing as grey as long as you could. Truth of mouth. He danced in the grey for as long as he could. All right. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's look at this part then. Okay, so let's look at this part then here.
Continue to communicate after the weekend, because
yeah,
that's what
I'm gonna go back slightly. Sorry.
that it was a tough conversation for him, and he just didn't
was
want
hard.
to have it. Yeah,
That's what it did seem like. It seemed like he didn't want to hurt your feelings, but it seemed like he
Mhm.
just, but so after that happened, you all didn't have any more. Did you still continue to communicate after the weekend? Because I guess what I'm trying to figure out, and I think probably what a lot of the people in the chat are trying to figure out, is how did we go from you kind of backing off and saying, okay, great. And it was obvious that you really liked him. He let you know. And then it seemed like you moved on, and we see that you tried it with Paul, that didn't work. But then we get to the reunion, there seems to be a lot of anger or misplay. And so we're assuming something happened that we don't know anything about. What caused the energy between Clifton and Joy and you at the reunion? Or do you know?
So the reunion was a complete shock to me. Like, I was caught off guard when that happened. So at the reunion, so you guys saw it in two parts, right? You saw the Eric conversation.
So just to clarify as well, she said obviously they hadn't communicated after that, and said obviously she didn't actually know why per se the reunion situation actually happened. She's still not sure as to why the reunion situation actually happened. She hasn't got an answer for that, right? She lets us know what happened, but she doesn't know exactly what the actual issue was. Okay. I don't know. I mean, it's I said, I think, and someone put it up there as well, and I put it up, sorry man, I took it down. Definitely, I think Clifton definitely fed a different narrative, not necessarily a wholly different narrative, but he downplayed what he had with Dakia. I think he downplayed what he had with Dakia. Now, to be honest and to be fair, I don't really, because on camera we saw, okay, feeding oysters, and yeah, we saw a little bit of that, but we didn't really see much of the same connection with Clifton and Dakia. And so what I'm gonna say is maybe the editing showed it that way. But I say again that editing, again, I think we always use that. People can't use that as an excuse. What we saw with Dakia and what we saw with Clifton, the connection was slightly different, very sexual. And what I would say is that, Clifton in this situation with Joy, I think there was slightly different narrative he sold, right? I think he told the story differently, right? I think he told the story differently, because there's no way she comes out and says on reunion after 4 episodes, editing, right? Editing, and it's like, but editing, baby, editing, babe. I mean, the editing just shows what they were talking about. So, what did you see in editing? In the situation here, what did you see? You saw your man talking to Dakia, saying, "I'm open to the process." What is the editing thing there? What's the edit? What's the edit? What's the edit? Did he or did he not say those things to her? Are we going to say that they put words in his mouth? I don't think so. Right? You know what I'm saying? So I personally don't really buy this edit situation, which is why I say I don't buy the editing. I say it all the time. People come on here and then they prove us right about the way they are. Editing, actually, I think for me, shows people who they are in a short snippet. And then people come onto interviews, and it's very rare that they change the narrative from what we saw on the interview, right? Very different from what we saw them on the show. They're often the exact same way. And so I think here I'm looking at Joy's situation. I'm looking at Clifton, and I'm saying to myself, how did Joy look at a little snippet of a clip and say editing? Editing. How? Babe, you just heard your man tell her, I'm open to the you saw her say a direct question. It's a direct question. Very plain. There is no misconstruing of the question. And it said, and he gave a straight answer. I'm still open to it. So why are we saying editing then? I'm not even saying his answer was even a very good answer, because to be honest, he left it open still. But why are you denying what you're seeing? You know? Just a thought. Just a thought. You know? We gotta hold it, gotta kind of accountable on both sides. Where we at now? Okay, so yep. Okay. I think this part was really interesting, guys. Listen to this part. Really interesting.
We filmed back to back. So like,
oh wow, okay.
I talked to Eric, and we're going back and forth, and I'm like, sheesh, you know. And then immediately Tommy's like, well, let's take a look at the clip of it. And I'm like, okay. But in my mind, I'm not thinking anything of it, because when we left the process, even after the getaway, Joy and I had lunch together. Like they set up lunch for Joy and I. We had a good time. We drinking and kicking it and talking and everything. And it was a good time. We hugged at the final brunch. I think I had text or talked to, it was with Clifton in his DMs. He had put a little funny thing or whatever. I say, yeah, hey, that's funny or whatever. He would check in and say, hey, how you been? But it was nothing major. It was just very friendly. Just at this point, I understand, and I've moved on, and we're just ready to just kind of get the process over. But then when we got to the reunion, I was like, what in the world? Because even at the Super Bowl, I had went over Laverne's house, and we.
Before we get to that Laverne part, so just her there, just letting us know, you know, that she hugged Joy and went to lunch with her. Right? Hugged Joy and went to lunch with her. Sir, what's going on? Why are we hugging and going to, madam, why are we hugging and going to lunch and then firing at Dakia at the reunion? So I can only think of one particular reason why. Something else in translation in between that time and reunion happened. Someone else has relayed information from whatever Dakia to Joy. That's the only way I can see it. Someone has relayed some information to Joy about what Dakia has said in between that time. Maybe. Because we're seeing Joy pop off, and again, she might be territorial, but the way I have to be concerned about the way that Joy, from what we can hear so far, Joy saying that, Dakia saying that she said the comment about I'll take your man as a joke and producers were also there. Let's say that's the truth. And then Joy's popping off and then re-establishing what was actually said at that moment. I am going to be concerned. Right? I'm going to be concerned.
We were all kind of watching the game, and he FaceTimed them from Mexico, and I went, hey girl, how you doing? She waved. I'm thinking everything is fine. Come to the reunion. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I like that dress. And she's like, hey, hello. And I'm like, okay, so we're good. We turn on that clip, honey, and it's a whole nother experience. And I am literally caught off guard. So keep in mind, we filmed this reunion back in February. So we've only seen 4 episodes of the show.
Okay, because that's my next question was, well, did she maybe see the show, the entire show, and see how you and Clifton, some of the scenes with you and Clifton where he was like, it just doesn't make sense that we should get to that point if there's not something else behind that.
Right. So we're seeing the clips, and so when we're at the reunion again, we only are seeing some clips. We haven't seen the whole show, so she hasn't seen our dates. She's only seen. I don't even think she's seen the oyster date yet. You know, I think she's only seen the very first date and the first brunch. So she hasn't seen all the meet the ex date. She hasn't seen the oyster. She hasn't seen all this other.
And that's also a good point as well. Joy hasn't seen Meet the Ex Day. I'm actually asking a serious question. What do you do if you're Joy and your man was actually out here with another girl saying, I want to make another man jealous? What do you do if Joy is reacting this way at the reunion? What happens when you watch the last episode with Clifton saying, I'm coming at your, I'm basically trying to make your ex-man jealous? What happens at that point for Joy? Serious question, you know, because you have to really deep it. What happens at that point? What happens when you see them making a joke about the oyster stuff? You know what I mean? You have to ask some serious questions at that point, boy. Serious questions.
This stuff. And when we're there, they start showing some clips. But even to be honest, they didn't even show all the clips that you guys saw at the reunion. We weren't even seeing. We didn't even see all of those. We had a smaller segment of clips, so she still didn't get to see all of the stuff. So in her mind, she's like, "Girl, you're delusional. You ain't have no connection." Blah blah blah. And I even said, "I'm like, Tommy, run the tape." And he's like, "Do we have the footage? Do you have the footage?" And they didn't have all the footage there that day because we're at some studio in Virginia. It's in February. Everything isn't put together yet. So they only show a couple of things. So she still didn't see everything. So which is why she's like, you know, oh, good at it, because she hasn't seen all of the dates and at the footage and everything. And then she's saying that, you know, oh, I said I was going to take her man. I did not say I was going to take her man.
Let's clear that up, because but it's still at that. Even if someone did say that, you guys are on a show where everyone is dating.
Everybody is dating.
No, it doesn't matter if everyone is dating. If someone says they're going to take your man, you know exactly what that means. Like, let's not try to gloss that up. If you say I'm going to take your man, you know exactly what that means. Like, let's not play with that. But if you're saying you said it as a joke, I'm hearing you. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was said as a joke, I'm hearing you. Hopefully, she said it once. Because my thing is, did you say it once or did you say it across the board again? Right? Did you say it once or did you say it elsewhere? You know what I mean? Like, that's the question we have to ask ourselves, right? You know, so I want to know, Dakia, did you say it more than once? Because it might be you said it to the production, but did you say it anywhere else? Did you say it to the girls? Did you say it in front of Carmen? Like, if we find out you said it elsewhere, I'm telling you now, it's going to be a problem. And this is what I heard. I heard it was said more than once. That's an issue. That's no longer a joke at that point. That's what I heard. I heard on the streets as well. It was more than once. If it's more than once, we have got a problem. Right? Because you're now initiating combat and warfare. And hey, listen, I don't have no problem with that. If you want to do combat and warfare, that's fine. But just don't be crying at the end of it, because I'm ready to go war. You know what I mean? Like, but if you said it more than once, then it's not a joke. You were trying to initiate something. And so, look, and just stand by it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, you know, that you can't say it. I'm saying just be ready for it. If it was said more than once, then, you know, we got to ask the questions, right? Then we can say, then Joy might feel some way. Now, I'm not saying that it's all that doesn't alleviate Joy from this where she's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Because the energy was still off, but still, I would say that I would ask the question, why would Dakia say it more than once? But I would say at the same time, Joy's energy was still mad, you know? Yeah, that's cool.
Everybody's dating everybody, but I'm so why? How did that get taken out of context?
Yes,
it did. Let's clear that.
Yeah, no, it was. So that comment was made at the getaway. Like we are still in the process. So it's not on camera. It's Joy and I and a few of the producers kind of at the bar making a drink and everything like that. And so the producers are like, you know, so how y'all feeling? Y'all the final four ladies, you know, is this what y'all expected? Is this ending up how you guys thought it was going to be? And I'm like, no, I thought I was going to end up with Clifton instead of her, you know, but I said it in a joking way, and everybody's laughing. She's like, touche. We even cheers and toast. And like I said, after that, we have lunch the next, maybe a couple days later. And at the final brunch we hugged. It was literally a joke, and it was just like, and not that I'm going to take her man, but we hadn't even gotten to decision day yet. So at this point, we're still in the process. We're still at the getaway. There is no your man. There is no, official relationship. And they're asking me, are things ending the way I thought it was? I'm like, no, I thought I was going to end up with him instead of her. And it was literally a smiling, joking thing, and everybody laughed. We even told, she's like, touche, and laughed and toasted and everything. And like I said, when we got to the reunion, she's like, you said you was going to take my man. I'm like, where's that coming from? Even the producers are like, is she talking about that? Is she talking about something else? And I've seen some rumors
that situation where. So
yeah, but then I've seen texts that say,
what's going on in your head when you're like that? Because I just assumed that something had to happen that we didn't know about, because it seems she.
So listen, first and foremost, you're absolutely right. Listen, Clifton is not Joy's man at that point in time, but it doesn't matter whether he's her man or not. It is what the implication of the comment is. Let's not do that, guys. We don't need to do that. We understand the implication of what that term means. You know what I mean? I'll take your girl. Even though it might not be your girl, you still might be annoyed, because it's not about the fact it's your girl. It's the fact that, what am I implying? Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. It's what it's implying. Now, again, this comment that's made, again, I'm not saying again that that she can't say that. I'm just saying that it could initiate some beef. And like I said, did somebody do Chinese whispers? Did someone do Chinese whispers and tell Joy maybe this has been said somewhere else? Yeah. You know what I mean? Did you? That's the only thing. So you have to just be. If that is the case, then maybe I can see why she's getting angry. But still, again, I still the energy, the vibration is still a bit mad for me. It's still a bit mad for me. It's still a bit mad for me. And just that the energy that she brought to the table, Joy, that seemed way too much than just talking about, I'll take your man. Do you know what I mean? That seemed like it'd been bottling up. And even the comment she put about it said, F your context. I was like, F your context. Again, it's not really a good look. Because you're not really being open to the conversation to be able to make us understand what actually was being said in that moment. So yeah, I was a bit like, okay. Let's see. I won't even get to this part here.
A little competitive between the two of you, and I'm sure when you saw watching the show back, you saw, her comments and
oh, sorry, I went too far, guys.
And you get hurt in the process. I would just think, and I'm not saying that he was wrong. I'm just wondering if I'm sure he felt bad about it. He did not look like he was enjoying the conversation, but I'm wondering, did he at least reach out and be like, I'm sorry, are you good? Now
at the getaway, he did apologize for the situation of, us not working out and him not letting me know, and he could have told me. So he did apologize in that moment.
Okay.
At the reunion, I'm gonna be very honest, I did see a glimmer in his eyes, like, okay, this is going too far. But at that point, he got to just keep going with it, because his loyalty is to Joy, and that's understood. But I haven't spoken to either one of them after that.
Okay. Let's talk about you and Carmen, because you
all right, cool. So look, man, it's political. It's unfortunate. With a situation with her and Joy. Still feel like things weren't really cleared up. I think we need Joy, definitely. I think we need to hear more conversation. I think definitely Joy needs to, but I think Joy's got questions she needs to ask herself. I think she needs to ask some serious questions as to how only 4 episodes in, the energy you had watching it back and you thought the person was lying. That tells me there's a bigger story. There's a bigger story behind this situation. So there needs to be some big questions Joy has to ask herself in regards to Clifton. I think she has a tendency to cut with her words, that's going to be dangerous in relationships. She might want to ask herself, how do I make sure that I'm not cutting my partner on this? Just like she was going to make sure that she said, the ball be dropped by Clifton. I think we need to really look. I think Joy needs to really look it deeper, because this could end some way. I'm not saying that Joy and Clifton are not good right now. I'm not trying to say the relationship is bad or trying to end the relationship. I'm just saying there are key questions Joy's gonna have to ask herself, because the reaction energy she had, without us being filled in terms of why this is happening, we got bigger problems at hand. Your emotional regulation was off at the reunion, and you were saying that someone else didn't have a connection with your partner, but we can see on screen they did. Whether it was, like yours or not, there was still a connection on there. So, we're gonna have to really focus on that again for Joy. I think Joy better ask her those real questions when it comes to the relationship with herself and Clifton. Someone said Joy mad at seeing Clifton so touchy and flirty. Where's Dakia? I think Clifton was telling Joy that he didn't like Dakia. She saw differently on those clips. Absolutely, potentially that as well, right? Yeah, I definitely see that. One thing she did say is I want to just go to this. She did say this about Clifton. I want to see 101 10. So I want to just bring this part up here.
At the getaway, he did apologize for the situation of, us not working out and him not letting me know, and he could have told me. So he did apologize in that moment.
Okay.
At the reunion, I'm gonna be very honest, I did see a glimmer in his eyes, like, okay, this is going too far. But at that point, he got to just keep going with it, because his loyalty is to Joy.
And that's the thing. I think we all saw that. I think we all saw Clifton kind of look at Dakia and be like, it's a bit much coming from Joy. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about the Joy energy, how it was off, because everyone, you guys saw it. We saw it. We all looked at it and going, maybe the way that he was looking, he was not indulging in the madness of Joy. He definitely was not indulging. The energy she came with was a lot. And he definitely did not indulge in the fact that he was happy to see Joy going at Dakia, which again leads me to believe that you weren't trying to hurt Dakia, but you also are not being honest about the role you've played in the situation. You're trying to wipe your hands clean, but your hands are full of blood. You can't do that. You can't do that. If you're not going to be honest about your connection, if you're not going to be honest about what role you played in it, if you're not going to be honest about how much you contribute towards it, you don't get to do this and call yourself Pilate from the Bible and wash your hands of Jesus. You can't. You're part of executing somebody. That's it. It's that simple, right? And I'm sure you saw something, and he probably saw something about Joy, or an aspect of Joy, that he probably thought to himself, flip, yo, that's not cool. Right? That's not cool. So I think I'm not saying it's not going to break the relationship per se, but I think he definitely saw something in Joy. He was like, whoa, like, you need to relax. Like, you're doing a lot right now. Like, chill. But he didn't tell her to stop, and that's another thing. Again, for me, that part is cowardly. I love Clifton. Don't get it twisted. I like Clifton. I do like, he's a cool guy. But it's cowardly to let Joy just pop off like that, bro, and go at her in that way, and know that, bro, like, you are part of the problem. You contribute towards it. No, I think Joy should have sat back and let him handle it. He didn't have to. This is not a situation where, oh, a man is a woman's business. No, he is the business. So it didn't need another woman to get involved. It didn't need. Look, if they went back and forth, we wouldn't be saying, oh, he's involved in women's business, because it wasn't women's business. It was him and a girl that he was involved in, and he should be talking and him to be saying, right? And him to be saying to her, hey, look, you know what? The situation happened. Ra, 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 ra. That's true. That's true. That's true. So yeah, man. Joy's gonna have to ask her some serious questions. I don't know if she'll be able to come on the show. I'll try and hit her up and see if she would be willing to do an interview. And Clifton too, because we would love to hear their thoughts about what they experienced on the show and why the reunion was so explosive as it was. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. You know, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah. So gotta look at those things, man. Do you know what I mean? Listen, you don't want the dogs to come and mess up your front yard. Let's make sure we set good boundaries. Setting good boundaries is important for your growth and for your prosperity. So, guys, I'm gonna be out. Actually, before I go, guys, you know what? Is I need your help for something. There's 866 of you guys, so let me get your help with something real quick. I'm gonna put this into the chat real quick. I need your help with something quickly. Do you know what? I was on a competition. I told you guys about Influence Me competition. I actually didn't get through, but they've put me back into the competition, guys. They've put me back in to the competition. I've got a second chance. So I'm gonna need you guys' help. Okay. I'm gonna need your votes. I'm putting a link into the chat. I'm putting the link into the chat. And what I need from you guys is to go onto the link, and I need you guys to vote for me. Okay, I've pinned it up into the comment section. I need you guys to get up on there, click on the link, and vote for me. Okay, they gave me a second chance. It must be God. It must be God, because you know what? I couldn't even do the promotion the last round because I was in South Africa, but somehow, some way, I don't know. They said we get a second chance. So listen, I'm back on it again. Influence Me link. Let me put the link. I've put the link and I've pinned it there. But let me put this here so you guys can, if you're watching a replay, you know what it is, baby. Baby, when you left a part of me. So yeah, vote for me. Link below in description. Yeah. So listen, guys, I need your help. Okay. All right. So I can be on your national TV screens. Okay. All right. Vote for me down below. I probably can't spell the description right, but you know what it is. The link is down below in the description box for those who are watching replay. For those of you who are in this particular chat already, the link is already there. What do we win? Well, what do we win? You get to be in a house of other influencers. You'll be competing against other influencers. I hate competing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like it. But I'm here in it. If this is the path, it's the path in it. So click on the link, vote for me. If you feel led to make a financial vote as well, by all means go ahead. But I appreciate you guys, man. Listen. So yeah, appreciate guys. Vote for me again once more. Is it a circle? No, it's not the circle. Don't worry, it's not the circle, guys. It is not the circle. Don't worry, it's not the circle. If it was, I'll be so happy. But click on the link below. Vote for me, guys. Like, share, subscribe to this video. We appreciate you so much. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow with an interview. I believe I've confirmed it with Ace tomorrow night. We have also Sabrina on Thursday night as well. So things are heating up for you guys well with these interviews. So you're going to see some more coming out. I appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. Agree or disagree, I appreciate you guys being on here. Yeah, babe.